Hi everyone. So I've been thinking about what books the characters from Harry Potter would be reading, and I had a lot of fun making this list. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with Harry. So for each person, I'm going to tell you what they're currently reading, their favorite classic, their guilty pleasure, and their favorite Hermione. Harry. He likes books where the fate of the world rests in one man's hands. So he's currently reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. His favorite classic is probably The Odyssey, but he secretly loves the Da Vinci Code because it makes him feel really smart. His favorite Hermione is gotta be How to Win Friends and Influence People by Olivia Blake. Okay, next up is Ron. Ron loves books where the sidekicks are either smarter than, better than, or just incalculably necessary to the hero. So he's currently reading the Percy Jackson series. His favorite classic is probably Lord of the Rings. He secretly loves Fourth Wing because he secretly wants to be Charlie. And his favorite Hermione is Amortentia by Olivia Blake because it's a collection of short stories in which he gets paired with many different people and he doesn't have a long attention span, so he loves that one. Hermione loves to read, so she's got tons of stuff on her book she's read list and her TBR list, but currently she's reading Circe by Madeline Miller. Her favorite classic is Jane Eyre, probably, although she has many, but she secretly loves the Twisted series by Anna Huang. Tell me I'm wrong. Her favorite Hermione is probably A Year and a Day by AML Coco. Draco. Draco loves the manly classics. He's currently reading Moby Dick because he doesn't read contemporary fiction. He loves The Count of Monte Cristo. That's his favorite classic, but he secretly loves Ali Hazelwood books. Again, tell me I'm wrong. His favorite Hermione is Remain Nameless by Hey Jude 19. Ginny. Ginny loves adventure books. She loves fantasy. She loves romantasy. She's currently reading the Throne of Glass series, probably for the second or third time. Her favorite classic is The Hunger Games, but she secretly loves 50 Shades of Grey. She will admit to not having read that, but she has read all of them. As far as her favorite Hermione, she says it's Remain Nameless, but it's really Apostasy by Deidre Lynn. Luna. Luna is often reading more than one book at a time, which is why right now she's reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Remarkably Bright Creatures, and Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Her favorite classic is obviously Alice in Wonderland. She secretly loves to read The Bell Jar because she finds it kind of funny. And her favorite Hermione is Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love by Brigitte Knightley. Pansy Parkinson. She's currently reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. If you know, you know. Her favorite classic is Bad Behavior by Mary Gateskill, which includes the story Secretary. Pansy doesn't really have a guilty pleasure because she doesn't believe in any pleasure being guilty, but she secretly loves Butcher and Blackbird a lot. And her favorite Hermione is obviously The Secretary by Pacific Rim Bod. Blaze. Blaze loves manly books like Dark Academia, so he's currently reading The Secret History by Donna Tartt. His favorite classic is The Godfather by Mario Puzo, but his guilty pleasure, I guess, is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. As far as his favorite Hermione, he'll say it's The Auction, which he did love, but he also loved Rosemary for Remembrance. Theo. Theo is currently reading When You Are Engulfed in Flames by David Sedaris, but he's read all of David Sedaris, and his favorite classics include All Sedaris, The Collected Dorothy Parker, and Catcher in the Rye. His favorite guilty pleasure books would probably be anything by Riley Sager or Geneva Rose. His favorite Hermione is probably How to Win Friends and Influence People by Olivia Blake, but he has a soft spot for Amor Vincit Omnia. Padma. Padma's currently reading Normal People, and she loves anything Sally Rooney. She also loved the One Dark Window duology by Rachel Gillig. Her guilty pleasure would probably be the Bridgerton books. And her favorite Hermione is probably Manacled. I'm grouping Parvati and Lavender together because they probably read the same books. They're their own little book club. They're both currently reading the ACOTAR series, maybe for the second or third time. Their favorite classic is the Gossip Girl series. They don't really have a guilty pleasure, but I guess if they had to pick one, they would pick Verity by Colleen Hoover. And their favorite Hermiones are the Morgan Murphy Hermiones, like 10 out of 10 and Meet Your Match. Daphne. Daphne's tough because she's so chameleon-like. I never really know where she's going to be in a fic. But I think she's currently reading Funny Story by Emily Henry, and she probably has read all the Emily Henrys. Her favorite classic of all time is Sense and Sensibility. And I would say the book that she secretly loves is The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. I don't think she'd want it to get out how much she loves that book, but that book changed her life. Also, her favorite Hermione, again, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Astoria. Astoria is currently reading The Fault in Our Stars. She also loves the book One Day by David Nichols. I guess her guilty pleasure would probably be like Haunting Adeline. For her favorite Hermione, she really loved Amor Vincit Omnia, but I think her favorite is Universal Truths by Scully Murphy. And finally, Narcissa Malfoy. She's currently reading Mary by Nat Cassidy. Her favorite classic is Beloved by Toni Morrison. Her guilty pleasure would be probably the Frida McFadden books. And her favorite Hermione's are the Rights and Wrongs series by Love Spitka 8, aka Julie Soto. Okay, do you agree with me? What do you think? I'll see you next time. Bye.